Andre, if all three of them can join, but only one person can from this qualifier.
There can only be one. And we will see who is the Highlander tomorrow when the finals are going to go down.
It's like, yeah, we're about to find out right now. Nope, we're going to find out tomorrow.
But we get to see who has still the running opportunity.
Right, we get to see the journey, guys. We want to take you through and paint the story, guys. At NASL, Season 4 is not going to be just us every night broadcasting games and kind of say, like, all right, well, that was a great game, you know, and tell a story or two. No, we want to tell you the journey of the players again. Yes. We're going to have player interviews. We know some of you love the profiles we did on Hasu and Beastie, and everyone loved that lowly profile, what we do in remembrance of him. But we're doing that more, Andre. We're going to give more story to what the league is, build that line. That's why, because we have 9 weeks of play. A lot of tournaments have like 1 weekend. Some get like a month. And we really want to be able to build that up. And that's why we're broadcasting these guys throughout the entire qualifier. We're showing that some people, they have to go through an incredible amount of players in order to get to the finals. If Revival makes it through, how many players does he have to beat to get to the finals?
Gosh.
It's like, it's the high caliber level of play, you know, is insane.
When it comes down to it, everybody, or for the most part everybody, ends up in a coffin. That's where you end up.
In a coffin?
Yeah, in a coffin, or you're cremated, something. We all die.
Oh, yeah. I heard this interesting statistic. 10 out of 10 people die. So.
Yeah.
But we don't
care about where you end. We care about the whole process. As you said.
Man,
the journey.
Right. It's not the destination, it's the journey. There's like this is epic poem about it. It's called The Station, where too many people are really caught up in and waiting for something to come. And like, well, you know, like if this happens, if I just get GM, if I just get top 3 control, if I just get this, everything will be better. But they don't understand that part of the learning of it, you know, like going through losses, defeat. That's why it's always good for a player to, when they get to their first finals, their first NBA finals, their first GSL finals, that they lose, because they understand what it's like to be so close and fall. That's a player like Revival, and that's a player like Ragnarok. Guys who've been in our qualifiers, guys who've been in online leagues, guys who've been very close to being on the A team of TSL, but they're always on the B team and hasn't been able to prove themselves. Now, Revival is starting to break the A team because he was playing a lot for IPL Team Arena. I saw him. He did an all-kill against Czech 6, which was cool. But still, these guys are on the verge of breaking, and that's the story we want to paint.
No. As Gandhi once said, we fall so we can learn to pick ourselves up later. Pretty sure it was Gandhi.
It was, or you just sound like my high school gym teacher.
No, bro, it was
You can run 1 more mile. Back in high school, we did this thing called the Presidential Fitness Campaign, where like every person was required to run a mile like every single month.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I can't run a mile. Like I can't even walk a mile. I stopped after 2 laps and just went to the bathroom and then faked being sick. I'm a nerd, man. I play computer games. I don't run a mile. And now here I am, like trying to train and do the Terry Crews workout from The Expendables. I'm gonna start boot camping next week, Andre.
Excellent.
Oh well. I'm actually gonna go ahead and tease that. The reason why, guys, is because for Season 4, Frodan is gonna be working on some fitness stuff to show you guys, so that you guys can be fit gamers that get all the girls and impress all the other guys. Because realistically, guys also want to impress other guys with their fitness. Real talk, not just girls.
Yes.
Real talk, Andre. All right, we've strayed away from this game a lot. Let's talk. What's going on, Andre? What happened in the first 5 minutes?
Well, the camera's been telling everything.
That's right. A good observer, Andre, like you and at a BC legend, can tell the entire story. Well, what's been going on though? Can we break down the early
I have no clue. The camera's been talking. I don't know what's going on. I haven't been listening to the camera. You know what we have is a very early Roach Warren coming out from Ragnarok, obviously to do a lot of early game pressure. The standard BOs these days are to get circling banelings. And that really keeps you safe. Roaches are just too much of an investment. But the problem is Revival hasn't yet actually spotted out that there is a Roach Warren up, and that's been, you know, due to the inactivity of these early game Zerglings, I want to say. A lot of people get Zerglings out pre-6 minutes so they can actually, just a couple, so they can actually, as soon as Metabolic Boost kicks it, get a good scalp. But finally, way too late, Revival is actually going to realize this. He pops down a lot of Spine Crawlers, of course. We'll see if it's going to do any damage. 2 Banelings are going to be spotted. You tricky guy.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get the damage off, there was I mean, there's full saturation in the main. Perfect saturation, in fact. 16 drones on the mineral line. Now Ragnarok's actually going for a huge amount of aggression. He's got everything queued up. The Roaches take the Baneling hits, and now they are arriving to the battle. Ragnarok wants to end this early. 2 more Spine Crawlers about to finish up for Ragnarok, and the Zerglings are coming in reinforcement. The drones are being pulled as well. Needs the Zerglings to kind of buffer. The Roaches are the ones that hit very, very hard. Ragnarok waiting, but that gives time for Revival to make Banelings as well to deal with the Zerglings. Ragnarok sharking in, about to go in as well before the Banelings are ready. More drones are being pulled. This is good defense from Revival thus far, and those 3 Spine Crawlers are proving to be extra worthy of their cost.
Yeah, Ragnarok knows that this is being a little bit less efficient than he wants it to be, so he is going ahead and getting a couple of drones. The reason why he's getting Roaches right now is he is scared of a counterattack potential, because there is a point where Revival will potentially make so many Zerglings that it can actually overwhelm everything, and he's doing it right now. The Roaches will be surrounded. Nicely done. Getting out with the Zerglings. You don't want to trade them out immediately, and he will just go ahead and stop the attack. So let's go ahead and check at how these players are doing. 36 to 35, so they're really close in Harvester count. You can see the damage done by Ragnarok was sufficient enough to keep them pretty equal. But when it comes down to it, the extractors, the gas timings. Kevin, can you hear me? The gas timings are what matters.
Yeah, Revival's been on more gas for way longer.
Oh my
450
God.
gas compared to 100 per minute. That is, imagine if I could tell you you can get 700 gas more than your opponent in 2 minutes. I think you would
Stop.
you would cream yourself.
Oh, God, it sounds so good. Do you know what I could do with that much gas?
You can get anything. Anything you want. You
I can get whatever I want.
You can see as a result, Revival's getting an infestation pit. He's going to get upgrades and defensive pits. Like, you can get everything to jump ahead of your opponent in this case.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
One thing, though, you know, my rule of thumb in ZVZ, whenever you are ahead and you know you're ahead, go mutas. It's just the best way to maintain an advantage. Obviously, you just do so much damage to them, indirect damage to them. You force Spore Crawlers, a ton of Queens, and inactivity for quite a long time. And when you're ahead, it actually is a lot more because the counterattack, not the counterattacks, well, yeah, the counterattacks are useless. Like Ragnarok has no chance of actually counterattacking because he is behind. On top of that, he can't really be producing too many drones because there could be a lot of potential all-ins. The range of power that exists for Revival, if he goes mutas at this point, would be so much greater than normal games that he has to concentrate everything on units, get his Infestors out, and then additionally get Zerglings and Roaches out just to defend it in case it is going to be some Zergling, Muta, Baneling all-in. So it can be really difficult. Of course, I don't hate it with getting this Infestor count. It's just I feel like there is a more optimal way to play it out.
Well, we'll see how that actually pans it out, but for now, again, Revival getting up that third base will be really key. Love the fact that he's dropping Creep, planting a Spine Crawl a little bit earlier. Andre, you said it yourself, Spine Crawl is so useful. Now, Cloud Kingdom is a map where counterattacks are even more prominent than a map like Daybreak because there's more avenues. There's the hallways, there's down the center ramps as well, and even kind of along the sides. But eventually, a lot of aggression gets concentrated around the center expansion, especially as Infestors are empowered. The rocks have to be taken down, otherwise, you know, Roaches are going to get completely destroyed. Where do you see this really coming from here? Does Revival have the one? Is he the one with initiative to go attack, or is he the one because he's so far ahead just sits back and Ragnarok? But will that let Ragnarok get too far back in the game? What do you think right now? Where does initiative belong to?
Okay, well, initiative does belong to Revival just because, again, he did get ahead from that beginning phase, but it will kind of equalize out. That happens a lot of times in DVZ. If you do not actually try to do something immediately after an advantage, you kind of are relegated, especially if you're near Infestor Tech, you're relegated to just sitting back. Now, the advantage wasn't taken anywhere near Infestor Tech. That's why I always say try to put a little bit more pressure on your opponent because now, I mean, it's been a considerable amount of time. Infestors are just the best way of defending every single place. And, you know, as you said, Cloud Kingdom, definitely a map that has subjectivity to counterattacks. Definitely pull off some amazing comebacks with that. So I feel like, yes, Revival does have the ability to actually push forward, but still he has to be careful because right around the corner, Ragnarok could be having a huge surge of Infestors pop out of nowhere, all with fungal growth ready. And just as I say, 6 are popping out, and you know, what can you really do when infestors are out in the field? I mean, they just do so much damage in these narrow, tight areas. And look at these areas; they're all so nice for fungoing.
Ooh, so good run by.
Gosh.
And this is nice. You know, he's not going to do like in terrible amount of damage. He can pick off Queen, pick off some drones, but he gets a good scout of his opponent and says, all right, well, you know, I see these things, you know, I see tech building, I see no hive or whatsoever, and he's able to also force units to kind of reallocate. The fact that he's targeting down the spawning pool also, trying to see if he can take it out while taking out the fourth base as well. Excellent aggression from Revival, but you know what? Ragnarok splitting his units out very well as at the same time, even though he does lose his spawning pool, it could have gone much worse. He could have lost his fourth base and his tech. And as a result, we see that Revival's damage has been minimalized pretty significantly because you don't really need that pool at this point of the game, other than Queens.
Unit tab is showing 6 to 8 infestors, so not that big of a deal, but let's see who gets the first volleys. Oh, he loses infestor right away.
Oh, they're right here, and he locks it. He fungles the roaches. That way the infestors can't leave, and they're forced to stay in the middle of the battle. Great engagement for Ragnarok. That was exactly the money moment he needed. Infested Terrans are dropping, but at the same time, there's a lot of DPS from Revival. The reinforcement is from the Hydras, and the Banes are going straight for all their infestors. In fact, that one Baneling wants to be a hero, crashes and kills one infestor. And that actually made a big difference because that infestor had energy as well. Revival, oh my goodness. That macro completely turning the tides of the battle. Ragnarok now has to go back and really try to scramble his units, but Andre, he's going to take so much damage from this army.
Oh yeah, I mean, losing the third base is pretty much a position where you can't come back from in this particular stage. The spawning pool will go down yet again, so unfortunate. And just the fact that there are Hydras in this composition and so many Roaches to actually back that up, there's no way that Revival can actually lose this, and he's just going to surge on for the advantage. You know, it didn't even matter with that huge gas concentration, with that huge gas advantage. He was able to materialize that into so many roaches.
Into Hydras, too. It doesn't matter if you lose infestors. He's just got so much Revival with way too much junk in that trunk. Advances to the quarterfinals, where he will face off against whoever else is in the quarterfinals.
We don't know yet.
He will join a lot of other players. He'll join Value in the quarterfinals.
Yes,
we know Value advanced to the round of 8. If you missed the first series, it was Ghost User versus Value, and Value took that series.
But right now, we are going to take a short break, 2 minutes, and when we come back, another series. We're going to find out after this, so don't go anywhere.
What better to do this weekend than to check out iBuyPower.com? They have awesome deals this Labor Day weekend, from computers to keyboards to memory. Check out iBuyPower.com for more deals like you can save $300 on an Intel X79 gaming desktop. Save $80 on a custom-built Intel gaming laptop. There's also free stuff like processor, memory, video card, and monitor upgrades, and so much more. Anything you need to build your own computer can be found at iBuyPower.com. Customize your computer with iBuyPower's Labor Day sale, but you better act quick because their sale ends on Monday.